What's up, all you burner stoners and potheads? This is Mr. Weedman and Big Earl with the Grow Hour. Big Earl, my brother, how the hell are you?
Hey, what's going on, man? I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. You want to know why?
What?
Because we have Alex, Queen of the Sungrown, joining us today. Hey, Alex, how you doing?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Oh,
Good.
good. Everything's great. We're great to have you on. I'm super stoked. But before we get started with the show, we're gonna smoke. Let's
Yeah.
get started. Big Girl,
All
I'm
right.
smoking something fun. Loompas Headband, baby. Super stoked. This strain is so great, man. It smells amazing. Tell us a little bit about it.
Lupa's Headband. I got that from out west, put it through tissue culture. Um, Came out really good. Kind of a low yielder, which is probably why people, bred with it and don't grow it that much anymore. But great terps on it. Great headband, a little different from a lot of the other ones I've grown. Somebody told me that the Lumpa's Headband was just an OG Kush renamed. I grew them right next to each other, so maybe I just don't have those original plants or something, but they were a little different, but it was fire. It was really good.
But you've
How you
taken
like it?
this plant. You've taken this plant though, and you've done other things with it too. With the what was it, Uncle Loompa's Packy Headband? You've crossed it, or did you get a cross of that?
Yeah, that was somebody else's crosses. That's why I went after that plant because their cross was so good. I
Yeah,
was like,
this
I want the mom of that plant.
yeah, this plant's great. This is me, man. I love it. And a buddy of mine who got some of it said it reminds him of high school. And
Nice.
he's in his 30s now, and he said it took me back to my senior year of high school. So I know it's good. Alex, what are you smoking on?
I've got some Blackberry Fire, and it's
Oh.
actually a high CBD variety. So that's purple caper. And I think it's a 2-to-1 CBD to THC. So um, I really enjoy it. I love purple caper. He's a great guy. And I actually grew his straight Blackberry Fire, like high THC, back in 2018. So when he gave me the CBD version, I was like, oh, this is fun. Bring it back. Um, so I'm actually growing it again in my garden this year too.
I love ratios. I mean, it reminds me of a lot like when before we just went straight to THC percentage here in growing weed and good ratios of all the cannabinoids. So I love that you're doing a little ratio one. Love it. How's it grow outdoor?
Oh, amazing. I mean, the first time I grew it in California outside, it was just threw down these huge purple spears. Honestly, this is, completely different growing environment up here, up in the great north. I'm about 2 hours south from Canada. So my growing season is very
Short,
sporadic and,
short and sweet.
short. Yeah, I hope. I hope sweet because right now there's barely any signs of flower. Like 2 weeks ago, I started seeing pistils and just that emergence, but I've gotten one plant with little buds on it and everything else is still like just stretching. I'm like, "Come on, come on,
Oh,
come on." Yeah,
big
it's a little
big girl. What are
stressful.
you smoking on, brother?
A Platinum Lemon Cherry Gelato. I've been smoking a lot of that.
Oh, so
Yeah.
good. It's so
Oh,
good.
that the best thing that ever happened to my garden for me is that culture lab and being able to like take those old plants or any plant and like clean it and not have it. I only ever grew seeds and never was able to like bring in anybody else's plants because I was so scared of bugs. And being able to do that has been awesome.
Oh, dude, the
Yeah.
the sh the selection you've been bringing to the house has been mwah, mwah, moron. I love it, I love it. The selection's amazing. I'm spoiled. I'm spoiled because I have 5 really good growers in my life that are close by me, Earl being one of them, and the menus that I get of selection for the show, it would blow people's minds with some of the stuff that I get to choose from. I'm very spoiled. Thank you, Earl. I love you. So, Alex, what are you growing right now? You talked about a couple things you're growing in the garden right now. How many different varieties of are you growing right now? Give us some hints.
Well, I am doing this project called Blaze Botanical Latitude and Zone Evaluation. And so we're
Oh,
doing like a countrywide grow along, all growing the same genetics to
Very cool.
differentiate outdoor growing zones, like when we start to flower. So I've been waiting for this flowering time so I can fill out my survey. Um, And the strains that we're all growing for that are purple Oreos and strawberry banana grape from Seedsman,
Oh,
and then, bottomless breadsticks from Stayfly. They're amazing breeders out of Oregon, Southern Oregon, super great small family farm, all regenerative, amazing. And
I
then
want
I've got a
I wanna go
ton
I
of
wanna go to
other
Olive
stuff.
Garden right now.
Okay.
Now I wanna go to Olive Garden. Bottomless breadsticks? I
Right?
gotta go to Olive Garden.
I know. It's their breadsticks crossed with beef sticks, I
Oh.
think. So it's like um savory. But I'm really excited for the strawberry melted strawberries. So mostly everything I'm growing is for bubble hash and rosin. And somebody told me that this melted strawberry hit 10% return on yield and bubble hash, which I'll believe it when I see it, but it's a good, strain to have in the lineup.
I have
Um,
some. I actually
and
have some right now. I
oh,
actually have
yeah?
some right now. My buddy, Midwest Terps, who throws weed to the show all the time, he, grew some. It's 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 wonderful. It's wonderful.
Okay.
Sticky, wet,
I'm excited.
just juicy. They are some fat. I got just like 2 nugs left. I've been savoring it, but yeah, I think you'll enjoy it.
Yay. Those were actually shipped to me from Seedsman. So they have clones that you can just order online and then they ship directly to your house. So they sent me a bunch of different genetics. And then Ben, the owner of Humboldt Seed Company, I went and visited him in March and he gave me, or May actually, he gave me 4 of his favorite strains that are fast flowering and good for rosin. So the Spears of Jaw, which is like a phenotype of their garlic butter. And it's also supposed to be
Mhm.
like an 8%. The Bubbles blueberry pancakes and one of their the triploid OG. So I've got all
Wow.
kinds of things.
Yeah.
You got a nice garden going on there with some great, great strains, and they sound fantastic. I love it.
The triploid OG, do you notice
Mhm.
it, like, growing harder outside or anything?
No, and that's what he had said that I would be able to notice, like, bigger, more vigorous growth. But I mean, I will say it is the biggest out of the 4 plants that he's given me, but it's not like noticeably larger. And so maybe once
Triploid.
I start seeing flower though, like supposedly it's you know, from what I've heard, that there are multiple stalks on the trichomes. So we should
Mhm.
start seeing some kinds of mutations more significant in flower, but um, it's a mutant. So who knows what's going to show up to the party?
I love it.
Yeah.
I
That'd
love
be
it.
cool.
Earl, what do
That'd
you
be cool.
got? What do you got going
Um,
on?
what do I got going on? So we a couple months ago we talked about like gardens outside and linked a little bit of of we tried to link weed to plants for people because that's really what it is. A lot of that like weed knowledge you can put over into like any fruiting or flowering plant for sure, and like really any plant with like a little tweak, you know. But I think number one question for Queen of the Sun Grown is why is the sun grown better? Because really we're primarily indoor. Like with what we talk about in most of our knowledge, you know, like we do a little bit of outdoor stuff, but we just aren't you know, we aren't there
Yeah.
like that, you know.
Well, I
So
mean, first of all, sustainability aspect, your energy footprint, carbon footprint, resources, and also just the connection with being outside. So many people, I think statistically, like Americans spend 90% of their life indoors nowadays. We have all-time high of mental illness and chronic illness and pain, stress, disease. Sitting is the number one killer, sitting and stress. So being outside is just like a door to the cure, the elixir of life, I think. And there is a study, so we can bring some science into why outdoor is better.
Science,
Um,
science, science. We like it.
so I believe it was Columbia University last January published a study, and they worked with several outdoor farms and collected data on the terpenes that were present in outdoor organically grown versus indoor synthetically grown. And
Sure.
so this is where I think the study needs to be redone, where they should also have organically grown indoor because The variety of terpenes was much broader in the outdoor, and this is because terpenes are the language of plants. So when you're outside, there's a lot more room for plants to communicate with everything else going on, right? So we've got weather, we've got pests, we've got way more diversity in microorganisms, way more diversity in other plants. Like a plant with like beta caryophyllene will produce more beta caryophyllene if it's next to another plant, you know? So
Mm,
we can see array of terpenes outside. Also, like THC is like sunblock, so for higher UV radiation from the sun. But the same study also showed that specific terpenes, and other secondary metabolites, we should get away from that. There's more, right, than just terpenes, like flavonoids and other alkaloids in there. But the indoor had higher levels of a fewer amount, right? So if you think about like aromatherapy and what are the medicinal benefits, it's not just THC, it's not just CBD, it's this wide a range of compounds. There's like over 250 known cannabinoids and so many different compounds, secondary metabolites that are produced by this plant. And being outside is like giving the plant its ability to shine at its fullest potential. Um, and, you know, like you and me, we get to shine at our fullest potential, I think, outside rather than indoors. So that's my long winded answer for why outdoor is better.
I like that. Good answer.
I can tell you this. So I've grown outdoors for sure. I never was like so sure of like the sun and outside. I've been into getting into like just plants, a lot of plants in general, mostly like house vineyard plants, like pothos and all kinds of different shit. And I give these things like a cabinet inside. I keep their humidity perfect. I give them lights, but not too like I follow the rules on taking care of these plants. And they're like alive. I put them outside under a tree where they're not getting any direct light or anything, but just under this tree. It's dry sometimes, it's humid sometimes, it's windy sometimes. It's like everything's getting thrown at it, and they've never been happier. And
Mhm.
it's like it almost like, it humbles you, where you're like, "Wow, these
That
things, like, they're growing so fast," and, like, I was like, "Oh, I can't believe it, how much they like it, compared to what I do."
dude, that's what I'm saying. When people ask me that, like, a short answer is like, take a sick plant, any of your plants indoors that's just not doing well, and go throw it outside and see what happens. And that's gonna
Gonna
be
perk
my answer.
it's gonna perk up.
Nothing better than the sun. That's for
Yeah.
sure. Nothing better for
No.
healing. Just all you
Yeah.
need is a little
Mhm.
15 minutes of walk every day out in those beautiful rays, and it does a lot. Does a
Yeah.
lot. Besides the good looking tan we all get
Yeah.
from that beautiful sun of yours. So who the f- who are you though? Who are you? We didn't even get a chance to introduce you. Like we went right into why outdoors better than indoor and why you do what you do, but we don't know who the hell are you, Alex? Tell us a little bit about Queen
Yeah.
of the Sun Grown.
So Alexandria Irons, I was a commercial cannabis grower in California. I did Prop 215 and then transitioned over to Prop 64. I grew indoor for 2 years, and then the place that I lived banned cultivation. And luckily, I lived in Nevada County up in Tahoe, and right in the foothills, just below the snow line, is some of the best herb in the country grown in the foothills of like gold country. So I had an amazing cannabis community there, and I went right into commercial growing. And unfortunately, me and my partner broke up, and I stopped the licensing process. And it's very stressful. If you've gone through licensing, it is a make it or break it thing, and it broke us. So, but everything happens for a reason. I started Queen of the Sungrown after that, and I helped consult getting people licensed. IPM is something that I'm really passionate about, and sustainability. So helping farmers, commercial farmers, really like lower their cost, because if you know the volatility of the white market, it's just crazy, the amount of taxes, fees, all of that shit. And then just making sure you're in guidelines for pest use, like pesticide use. That was like a big thing that I was able to help farmers with. Um, and I've kinda just, like, am one of those people who just wants to do whatever I wanna do, and I like growing weed and smoking weed and gardening, so I'm like, "I'm
Yeah.
just going to this is my business, this is my life." And I started podcasting and a Patreon and a website, and then I really got into home grow. And the passion that home growers have and, like, figuring this plant out and, like, just being able to grow their own medicine instead of, like, trying to make ends meet and a bottom dollar. Yes. It's just been life-changing. So, I write for the Humboldt Seed Company doing SEO, like, educational articles. I also write for Seedsmen. I do their blog, and I've been podcasting. I have a nutrient line. I mean, well, a product, and, um I do my Patreon live stream once a week, YouTube, Instagram, I'm just out there gardening, growing, and trying to help people become more sustainable and grow more for themselves because that is your sovereign right. I don't care where you live, like, you should be
What she
allowed to
said.
grow weed.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
So that's me.
I love
anything
it.
that grows as a plant in general is absolutely ridiculous. Like, it's so unnatural to make a natural thing illegal. Like,
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
like yeah,
I've been
that's
reading
wild.
the Bible a bunch lately, and I'm pretty sure it says over and over and over again that we're supposed to tend the plants of the earth, and that was, like, our first divine, like, what's
Well,
the word I'm looking for? Like, request.
the plant is divine. You wanna know why? Mr. Weedman's gonna kill me because I say it all the time. There's angels in those leaves. Just so you know, there's angels in those leaves. It was put here on earth for us for a reason. God only
100%.
God
We
God
have
only
an
c God
endo
only creates. It's not the devil's lettuce because the devil only destroys. God creates.
Mhm.
Created that plant for a reason for medicine for us to use every day. That's it.
Amen.
Amen.
100%.
We can end the show. Good night, everybody. Good luck. No, I'm just kidding.
Seriously,
What?
we've got an endocannabinoid system in us for a reason. Like our breast milk, well, not yours, but mine and other women's. There's cannabinoids within it. When we are the cannabinoid producers and our babies, it adjusts for our babies and our children according to their immune system and what's going on with them. And it's like there is a reason that we have this plant. And my husband has cystic fibrosis, so he's got a chronic illness that average life expectancy is like 45, and he goes through it every single day. And so being able to grow his medicine, knowing that there's no pesticides, it's grown with only the best organic inputs and the best intention, like buying dispo weed, you're that's like somebody so stressed out, underpaid, like, the plants pick up that energy. I say I have not had a good time. Anytime I smoke dispo weed, I'm, like, anxious, I'm, like, not wanting to talk to anybody, racing heart, like, that's just not my vibe. So, home grow for the win. I'm here for it.
What she said. Right there, right above me.
Yeah.
I love it.
What plant you think you treat most like weed outside?
Honestly, there is nothing that is, like, exactly like weed, but I would say 2 plants that are most similar are determinate tomatoes and garlic. So we're gonna
Oh,
go they're completely different in how they grow, but there's the similarities with tomatoes are, pruning, how they grow, trellising, the structure, a determinant where it's just producing all of its yield at once. You need to harvest it, get it down, topping, all of those things, and it really likes a lot of calcium. So all of those things are very similar to the cannabis plant.
Huh.
But garlic has that long it takes 8, 9 months for garlic to
oh
be
wow.
produced. So we plant it in the fall, it overwinters, and then it grows and you're mulching and you're feeding and then you're watching it for when it's ready, it's gonna start fading, and you count the leaves, and you're like, "Okay, there's 6 green left. I've got about 4 that are brown," and then you have to cure it about 60 to 70 degrees at 50 to 60% humidity for 2
Hmm.
weeks. And
Wow.
Sounds
then
familiar.
it
Sounds
lasts,
familiar.
right? So, between those 2, definitely.
Yeah,
Love it.
that's cool.
I love it. Some tips and tricks that people who only grow indoors might appreciate when thinking of growing weed outdoors. Like I started I well, I just planted my second time outdoors since we were able to start growing in Illinois. And I this time I didn't use a pot. I planted it right in the ground, and I'm loving it. I took a clone, small
Oh,
little
yeah.
clone that actually re-veg because it was too cold outside, but I went on a trip and I was like, "This ain't gonna last in my windowsill," so I put it outside early. I got back, I'm like, "Oh, it's got buds. It's too early. It's only, May 15th." And then all of a sudden, like, remember Earl, you came by like, "Oh, it re-vegged." I'm like, "Yes, it did." And now it's like 6 feet tall and it's got buds growing its second week of flower. It's pretty cool. Pretty
Hell
sweet.
yeah.
I love it.
I pretty much only plant in the ground. I am a native soil that enthusiast. I toured the country a couple years ago teaching the Living Soil masterclass, and I brought a microscope and I had all of the students coming bring a soil sample, and then we would like go grab a piece of dirt outside, just the ground, and you'd look at the Fox Farms and the Roots Organic and the Build a Soil Super Soil and all of these different mixes that really are not soil. Okay, soil is 45% minerals, which are found in the ground made of rocks. That's soil. This is potting mix. It's the organic fraction. And when you look at it under the microscope, the life, the biological life, the activity in a potting mix compared to native soil is astounding. It's like a
Hmm.
party, it's an orgy in native soil. It's going on. There's protozoa, there's tons of millions of bacteria, nematodes flopping around, and then big shards of minerals all over the place. And then when you look in your potting mix, it's like, okay, look, there's some bacteria. Looking. So yeah, I mean, it's like a savings account when you plant in the native soil because you have complete access to all of those minerals. You just need to unlock them. Whereas potting mix is your checking account. You're drawing on it, you're drawing on it, you're drawing on it, and then all of a sudden you're empty.
Mhm.
So, what was the original question though? I don't even
I actually
oh,
am so
indoor
glad
for
you went
outdoor.
I'm so glad you went into that though, because I was like, you had me captured. I was like, "Damn, that's actually kinda good right there to know." Yeah, I love it.
Um, okay, so this bringing back to the science, right? That white paper by Columbia for indoor growers because I even though I can tout and I can say outdoors better for all these reasons, I know that unfortunately a lot of people can't grow outside and that's just the world that we live in. So, growing indoors, if you can companion plant and bring in other species of plants, that's my tip for you because that is going to bring in that diversity of terpenes, the communication with other species. Things that I really like to use: sweet alyssum, buckwheat,
Oh,
daikon radish, marigolds, and then any herbaceous like creeping thyme or oregano. If you look at like products like Canatrol or Mammoth Peas, like IPM products or Lost Coast Plant Therapy, a lot of the times they're just isolated essential oils from like geraniums, peppermint, rosemary, thyme. And
Huh,
so you can harness those plants. You're just growing it right there. There's your IPM plant that has those essential oils that deters pests.
hmm.
So that's my tip for indoor growers.
that's pretty cool. In the pots, right? Not don't bring in separate pots. Put those right on the top of the pots that
Oh,
you're
yeah.
growing out of or
Yeah.
you're
And
yeah,
the
that's pretty
bigger the
cool.
pot, the better. Like, I do, like, I had a 4x8 tent at my last house. I just moved here a year ago, year and a half ago, and previously, I had a 4x8 tent with a 4x8 grassroots living soil bed, and it was just maxed
Cool.
out, filled with soil all the way to the top. Um, and it's so much. And then the blue mat watering system, it was like set it and forget it. I was like, I could get used to this kind of indoor growing, but
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
that's nice.
Bigger is better
Best
when it comes to, like, relying on microbial digestion, but, like, if you're feeding your plant constantly, then small pots, okay, but when I see people, because I really focus on living soil, which I think is just a marketing term, it's just regular gardening, like, people outside are living soil growers because that's what's outside is just living soil.
I love it.
And so when you do that indoors, it's much better to have a bigger, larger container um, to just make sure that your soil food web is active and just
Yeah.
breaking down nutrients as quickly as the plant needs it. And I do think that you should feed as well a little bit with living soil because this plant likes to eat. And if you want high yields, you got to give it a little bit of extra, some juice.
Bump it up. Yeah, for sure. What about outdoors right now? What are some things we can do we doing outside right now that can bump up our plants a little bit? Or what have you been doing with your plants outdoors?
So I actually just made an FPJ, a fermented plant juice, last week. I dropped an article on Seedsman last week as well that's called Wild Crafting Cannabis Nutrients. And so bringing it back to the sustainability aspect, because I'm not growing commercially, I have the pleasure of like experimenting and doing whatever the hell I want. And so with this FPJ, fermented plant juice, I cut up so I wild harvested, some apples that were growing on my property just along the roadside, and I cut them up, and I put brown sugar, dark brown sugar in with them, and then
Huh.
I also cut, tansy. It's flowering right now, so this is a medicinal plant, has really good pest prevention properties,
Huh.
medicinal properties, smells super strong, and then I'm letting that ferment for 7 to 15 days. I've got just like a cloth over it, cool, dark shed. And so that's going to not only, I mean, it's using lactobacillus bacteria and fermentation to break down the nutrients that are held within the fruit, but it's also a biostimulant. Am I talking
Like
too much?
no, they're like Pac-Man, lactobacillus yeast, the
Eat,
Pac-Man.
eat
Yeah,
them
Eat those
down.
yeah,
sugars. They eat those sugars and fart out CO2. I used to be in beer. I'm a nerd. Sorry.
exactly. Yeah, no, I use a lot of beer stuff. I use malted barley grains.
Nice.
And so I actually grind them up and I have the product that I was talking about, this immunity. Um, I make a flour out of it and I bubble a tea with the malted barley flour because
Huh.
it's such high enzyme count. And those enzymes that are in there work perfectly for a living soil outdoor chop and drop because if and when I say chop and drop, I'm like cutting down those companion plants like that buckwheat, letting it decay on the surface. Those bacteria, it's feeding the bacteria, but then the carbohydrates that are left behind, like that malted barley flour contains amylase, which is for beer, it changes the
Mhm. You're making a
carbohydrates into
you're
fermentable
making a nice
sugars.
wort. You're making a nice wort. A
Yeah.
sweet wort. And that's
Yes.
why the is that
Yes.
why the plant likes it is that why the plant likes it so much? You're making a sweet, delicious wort. WORT, not
Yep.
wart, wort.
Exactly. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm trying to just boost up the plants right now, hormones for transitioning to flower. If you want to make a fermented plant juice, like you collect plant parts of whatever plant is in the phase of growth that you're in. So like it's not only is it like a fertilizer, which is high in phosphorus, right? Fruit's high in phosphorus. Um, but it's also high in the hormones that are signaling flowering and sexual maturation. So that's the biostimulation property of the FPJ. It's like jasmonic acid is also really high in apples, and that is a plant hormone that communicates with other plant hormones to like just tell the plant like what's going on in the outside world with what's going on the inside. And when that happens, more secondary metabolites are produced. So more terpenes, flavonoids. So if you want terpier weed, like jasmonic acid, increasing that is really good idea.
Oh,
That's
very
dope.
cool. That's
That's
interesting.
fucking
I did a plant juice once. So what I do with my seed hunts, my males, I always cut them down. I'm always like, man, it's such a waste. So I throw them into like I chop them up, throw in a 5 gallon bucket, add some water, let it sit for a while, and then I just pour it on my garden outside. But I wonder, I never thought of the maturity of the plant. You know, if I'm using that as like a as my fertilizer, as the like I'm popping seeds in my little bed. Um,
Mhm.
I never thought of that like messing with them at all.
I doubt it's messing with them. A plant hormone is just going to communicate with it a little bit. I mean, I doubt that it's gonna do any harm to your plant by adding it in there.
Yeah.
huh.
It makes me feel good that I don't just throw a whole plant away. That always bums me out.
You don't compost?
I know, I mean, I have a little bit I have a like, a little compost area in my backyard, but, like, I don't, I throw a lot of stuff in my garden beds, but
Okay.
usually I have to put it on this like, with my grass on the curb. Um, you were talking about an experiment. I saw something else you were doing that was cool. You were growing a plant outside, but you weren't, topping it or, like, cutting off leaves or anything, just, like, letting it go. How's that?
I did prune up the bottom, anything that was
Okay.
touching the ground so that there wouldn't be any, like, pests climbing up or mold issues later
Yeah.
on, but I didn't top it because I just wanted to see what the plant looked like without topping because, again, bringing it back to plant hormones, that accumulation of auxins in the very top of the plant is what limits the lateral growth and makes that Christmas tree shape. And
Mm.
so a lot of the times what would happen is like I'll see outdoors, these plants get huge, right? And inside when you're growing indoors, it's normally like, okay, your young plant, as soon as you got 6 nodes, let's do the first topping. And you're topping like, 3 or 4 times during the vegetative growth. And then you'll see that the plant has a bunch of big stems, right? Instead of like one main huge stem, there'll be maybe like two main stems. And then you'll have other big colas growing off of that, but you'll get like breakage. You'll get the crack of that where those two main stems come together. You can have like bud rot or botrytis. You can have like a lot more risk of infection and breakage. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm growing for all bubble hash fresh frozen, like, I'm not growing for flower, so why don't I just experiment with this and just let it go? Because I have such a short growing season. Every time you top a plant, you're messing with the hormones. You're slowing growth a little bit, and it's just so short here. Like, let me tell you, I had a frost June 16th last year
Ooh.
and a frost September 16th. So, so short. So I was just like, I'm just gonna not fuck with this plant really and just see if it allows it to mature faster without removing the tops. Um, hasn't matured any faster than last year, so
Yeah. Well,
hasn't broken
but
though.
but they look pretty. I didn't top mine outdoor either. I wanted to just let it do its thing, and I was like, "Oh, this is great. It's just growing and doing its thing and flourishing." And like I said, it's got a lot of buds growing on that baby. I'm excited to see that Vegas candy when it's finished. But sustainability. What is sustainable gardening, and what does sustainable gardening look like compared to normal consumer gardening?
It looks like composting, Earl. I'm looking at you.
I don't have a good excuse. I just don't I don't have I should. I have a big ass garden outside and, like, I
You
do a
could
lot of
have
organic stuff.
worms.
What was
You
that?
could have a worm bin.
I know. I could have a worm bin. I don't have an excuse for
That's
you.
Yeah, that's super
Maybe
easy.
I
Hey,
will.
I got Mr. Grow It to start composting. If I can get him to start composting, I'm gonna get you guys to start composting
I will
because
one day.
that is
I
the
don't I don't
beginning.
have the I don't have the yard space or the area to do it in. I don't even think my town allows it. So I will when I get my farm, hopefully in the next year or 2. We've been looking for a couple of years now. When I get my 10-acre farm, I will have my son is gonna teach me how to compost. I'm stoked because he's a gardener and I am stoked to do composting. So it will happen.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time for me. I have a neighbor in a corner of my backyard that I don't like a lot, and maybe I'll put, like, a bigger compost area back there and, like, just revamp that a little bit.
Yeah, you could do like a Johnson Sioux bioreactor. It sounds fancier than it is, but it's like you can find videos on YouTube, and essentially it's like a static pile combined with a thermophilic pile. I'm actually the Compost Academy done by Catalyst Bioamendments. They have classes. That's a little pricey and more directed towards commercial composters, but I would say like sustainability starts with one step at a time, and I think composting is like one of those steps that I think everyone should do regardless of whether they're a gardener or not. I was a UC Davis master gardener in California, and composter, and one of our volunteer field trips was to a waste reclamation center for Sacramento. And so
Oh,
I saw all of the trash from the greater Sacramento area, and 40% of the landfill across the nation could be composted at home. Not only is that reducing the carbon footprint of traveling to take that trash,
Uh-huh.
but it's also reducing toxic leachate from all of the rotting organic matter in plastic bags that's just producing methane gas building up and then nasty putrid leachate leaching out and causing more pollution because we just bury all of our trash. Think about this. Every single thing that you have ever owned is in existence somewhere in some state, only slightly broken down. Like realistically, we don't recycle. Plastic recycling was just a marketing tool made by Coca-Cola to sell more petroleum-based products. They don't really recycle plastic. It's a lie because they wanna sell more petroleum-based products. Um,
wow.
Glass is much more actually a lot easier to recycle. So I think, like, starting with thinking about our consuming and, like, how we're consuming in the garden is, like, the first step. Like, do you need to buy bottled nutrients? Or can you buy dry amendments, and what can you make yourself? The living soil is a great way to just transition. It's so much easier, so much cheaper. That is like one of the big pillars of sustainability is economics, like
Hmm.
your money. So not only are you doing something good for the environment, but you're saving yourself some dough, which
Yeah.
right now with inflation, everyone wants to save some money.
No, for
I
sure.
like saving money.
And your plants, your food, your flour is terpier, it's healthier, it's more packed with nutrients, so you can eat a tomato and be full instead of eating some empty ass tomato from the store. You
How
can get
about
it all.
gas? How
Mhm.
about wait? How about just straight up gas tomatoes? Like that's what we get served most of the year because you're not getting fresh garden tomatoes here in the Midwest in the wintertime. You're getting stored tomatoes that have been in a warehouse gassed for 3 months before you even get to see it, and they're white inside. Have you noticed strawberries too? They're picked so early. I haven't had a good
Red
strawberry here
inside strawberry.
in the Midwest in so long because when you get them, they pick them so early and they're white inside. It's just like, "What are you doing?" And then, like, I told Mrs. Weedman, I'm like, "When was the last time you had a good peach?" I haven't had a good peach in so long. It's like every time you get them, they're hard as a rock, and then by the time you put them in a paper bag to kinda like, "And here, that's what we gotta do here because 'cause they're just hard as a rock," and put them in a paper bag to help get them a little quicker, and they're just mush then, and they have no flavor.
Mhm.
It's just awful. Produce is I'm 53 years old, and I've eaten produce. My dad worked in the produce market growing I used to get great produce, and I've seen the change from the '70s, '80s, '90s to what I'm eating today, and it's not no bueno. It's terrible.
We're really good at growing volume,
Yep.
Yeah.
and we strip it
Yeah.
of everything else, but we grow a lot of it. That's kinda like what dispensary bud is, like you were talking about it before.
Exactly.
They strip it of everything else that is really like most of the medicines, and they say, "We have so much volume of plant material and so much volume of trichomes or whatever else that is being harvested," but it leaves all that other shit out, and then you get a couple generations now at least of breeding for it, and now you have plants that just do it. You don't even really have to look that hard. If you Google a breeder, probably the top however many breeders that come up are breeding just for size of cola, THC, maybe terpene, but usually like a very specific terpene. Not like a well-rounded profile, like vary this much. But
Mhm.
uh you brought up immunity a few times. Can we talk about
Yep.
that?
Yeah, definitely. So Immunity is a product that I created like 6 years ago, 5 years ago. I got hop latent viroid in my commercial greenhouse and in the living soil. So hop latent viroid basically duds your plant once it goes into flower. And unfortunately, the vector can be insects. It can also be stored in the mycelium of the mycorrhizal fungus that your plant is connected to. So I wasn't gonna just rip out all of my soil, right? These were in ground beds, only about 6 inches deep of top compost and some potting mix on top of the native soil. And so, um, I had sections that were infected with hop latent. And I started studying what viruses do to a plant and how they attack it. And they attack the chloroplasts, which reduces chlorophyll, which then goes on to make the plant smaller and lack the whole dudding thing. So, I started looking into like what can you do to give a plant to naturally combat a virus or viroid and how to boost its immune system naturally. So there's a variety of bacteria. The subtilis, Bacillus subtilis, is one of those heavy hitters that helps boost your plant's immune system. Aloe contains salicylic acid, which also helps with it. Yucca has indole acetic acid, which is another plant hormone. An auxin that helps just with growth, elongation. So if you're using yucca, it's helping your plant grow all the time because it has that hormone in it. And it also helps with stress all over the place, like heat, drought, any kind of stress. And then I added insect frass to this because it's got chitin in it, and that boosts the jasmonic acid, which then communicates with the salicylic acid for more terpenes, better immune system, immuno response. And then there's a little kelp in there just for those trace minerals, and biochar so that the bacteria has a little home. And also, biochar and fulvic acid passivate heavy metals. So that was something else that I wanted to just put in there to help increase carbon in your soil. And also, people complain about like kelp having heavy metals, and with our oceans just getting polluted over and over again. I was like, well, I should add biochar in there because it maximizes the effectiveness of fulvic acid to passivate these heavy metals. So it was just like my concoction of things that I started, and then the flour, the malted barley flour, that's the number one ingredient. Um, and I started giving it to my plants. Um, Originally I was doing a sprouted seed tea, and let me tell you, that is a pain in the ass to go from like like a small garden. Okay, sure, I'll germinate some seeds, blend them up, and make my tea. Trying to replicate that at scale when you have 1,500 plants, um, that was just impossible. I tried it once, and I was, like, trying to dry out all of the grains on a tarp in my yard, and the birds were just eating it, and I
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
"Oh my
They
god."
they ate well for the wintertime. They were getting fat. They were
Ugh. So, I went to the brew shop, and I was like, "I'm just gonna buy malted barley. F this
Yeah.
sprouting seeds."
There you
Like,
go.
brewers have this down to a science. They are
Oh, yeah.
stopping germination at the specific time for the highest enzyme count, and they have specific breeds of barley that are high in enzymes. So,
Mhm.
Wow.
enzymes are catalysts to chemical reactions. Every single enzyme does a specific thing. So, you can be like an alchemist, a magician, and you can add a little bit of chitinase to break down chitin, a little bit of phosphatases to break down phosphorus, a little bit of amylase to break down carbohydrates. Like all of those enzymes I just listed do those things that would take nature maybe hundreds of years, like in a matter of hours or days. So, like phosphorus, for example, is one of our limiting nutrients in the world. Like global leaders worry about food production because of our limited phosphorus. Um, and I think that that's a little bit of a fear mongering because there is a lot of phosphorus. Unfortunately, it's just locked up and tied up in our soil. It's not, all of our nutrients have like different mobility. right? Like there's nitrogen, super mobile. That's why you can see nitrogen deficiency in the lower leaves.
Hmm.
Phosphorus is one that's like tighter bound. So it can be in your soil, but your plant can't access it. So by introducing phosphatases, it's naturally breaking up the phosphorus that's already there. And so that's what the malted barley flour has, a lot of phosphorus within it, and it has that enzyme as well. And then I added Bacillus megaterium, which is a species of bacteria that also breaks down phosphorus. So while it is focused on boosting your plant's immune system, I'm also really focusing on phosphorus, unlocking phosphorus with that, because I struggled. I am a person who overthinks and takes on the world's problems, and I'm like, "How can I fix this?" And so, like, bat guano and seabird guano are, like, the most popular of the phosphorus sources for organic growers. And before I was in commercial cannabis, I worked for the Nature Conservancy, and I have a degree in natural science, and I'm an environmental like conservationist. And I was like working with these endangered species and then seeing like how we mine bat guano and bird guano, and we're just like destroying these beautiful special places, cave ecosystems and islands to just mine this guano. And I'm like, I can't use this personally. Like, that is not something that I can do. So I changed, because I put recipes up. I took guano out of all of my recipes, and I've replaced it with a rock phosphate and the malted barley flour and the bacteria so that I can feel good. So even though that's not marketing immunity, it's like my secret hidden agenda to get people like off of the freaking
The guano.
guanos, because
Yeah.
yeah.
Bats are out. Wort is in.
And
So
there is a lot
anybody
of guano out
listening to
there.
this that wants to try it, you can use the code FREET on my website, Happy Plant Organics, and you'll get a free bag of immunity. You can't see it because my
Very cool.
background, whatever. But yeah, I want everyone to try it. I have free samples, like a smaller size, that I send to anybody who wants it.
Hmm.
I'll send some to
Awesome.
you guys for sure.
Thank you.
Try it
Thank you,
out.
Yeah.
Queen. We appreciate it. Queen of the Sungrown, hooking it up for everybody out there. What? So, my favorite chat time. It's weed chat time. Let's get into a little weed chat, shall we?
Whoa,
All
whoa,
Come on,
right.
Earl.
whoa. What so the plants that you have been trimming up, what have you been doing, these last few weeks? I know your grow period's a little not as long as a lot of people's, but like how have you been treating them? What have you been doing? What should people be doing outside? What should they have been doing? How do you like to rotate your season like that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little behind, I'm not gonna lie. Like I've mentioned earlier, I have a 5-year-old, and I'm also growing the biggest vegetable garden I have ever grown in my life. So, I have 4,000 square feet of garden, and I made this goal to try to produce, like, 50% of our food. So, I've been canning, I've been processing, so I'm a little bit behind in what my cannabis garden should be. Um but hold on one second. Honey, you need to go.
Yeah,
Go
Hey,
upstairs.
how you
My
doing? Yay! Welcome,
Sorry.
welcome to Weed Talk. I love him. He's got great
Oh
looking hair.
gosh.
He's got great looking hair. Man, take it for somebody who knows. Oh wait, no, I don't have any. But
Oh.
he's got great looking head of hair. Those curls were amazing. Hell yeah! Welcome to the Weedman 420 Chronicles, the Grow Hour Show. Hell yeah! What's your boy's name? Oh, we don't give a fuck. I'm so happy he popped in and popped out. I'll tell you a little story real quick. Ms. Weeman popped in the show, brought down a drink on our last show we did together last month with terpene. She made this drink with infused honey that someone gave me. Didn't We thought it was like 10 milligrams per dose. It happened to be a 1,500 milligram a jar of honey. She gave me like 100 milligrams. I couldn't finish the last 45 minutes of the show, right, Earl? I
yeah,
was
yeah.
I was
Zooted.
zoo. could not
Oh
could not talk,
gosh.
could not get through. I was doing the one-eyed Jake like this, trying to read. I was shot. So stuff like this I love. Tell your boy we said, oh, thanks for making the show interesting. I love it. I love it. I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it.
Oh gosh. Yeah, so as you can tell, my gardening is, mom number 1 first and foremost. I'm
Hell yeah.
stay-at-home mom, and everything that I do
Hell yeah.
is
Good for
is
you.
queen of the
Hell yeah.
sungrown. Yeah, I mean, writing, teaching people, like, anything that you buy from me, it supports me to be able to stay home and homeschool my son,
Yeah.
and
Love it.
yeah, I love it. He helps me. He's been helping, since before. I have pictures of me, like, the day that I was in labor all day, watering the outdoor plants, trimming, hanging up things for harvest, he wearing him while I'm hanging plants for harvest. He's been there through it all. I
Hell
I
yeah.
picked up some weed. I pick up some weed from a friend when I'm out, and he's like, "Oh, are we going to Brian's to buy some weed?" And I was like, "No, what? Don't no, what you oh my gosh, how do you know this?" So this is why I have to homeschool you, kid.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Bring moms to school day.
Oh.
Bring your moms to school day. What does your mom do for a living? She grows weed, the best weed ever, motherfuckers. Right there. Queen of the sun grown. My mom.
Oh gosh, yeah. Um, so, back to the garden, really pruning, trellising, making sure your plant's got everything that it needs to go into flower. Like, I only have half of my garden trellised. I need to buy more T-posts, but my truck's not working, so I'm, like, behind on that, but other normally I would be like have everything trellised and supported and ready to go for flower. Um, teas, foliar feeding, scouting for pests, making sure if you have any pests they're taken care of before flower.
Yeah.
That's super important.
What are your
Obviously
favorite plants to
outside.
keep for pests? You brought up before IPM was one of your specialties. Do you have favorite plants outside? Like that, like,
Yeah.
attract predatory pests maybe?
Yeah, I mean, that sweet alyssum does a really good job of attracting green lacewings. The buckwheat I like because it grows so tall into the canopy and it attracts parasitic wasps and it directs them to like right into the canopy of the cannabis.
That's cool.
Um, and then this honestly, this tansy that has been the bane of my existence because it grows so profusely. It's an invasive species here. It reproduces by the rhizome. So after I tilled, it's just like a million more tansies popping up. That has such a strong smell that it wards off pests and it attracts a ton of ladybugs. Like I see lady
Hmm,
beetles, ladybugs all over the place.
that's dope.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So, the diversity, all different colors of flowers, all different times of flowering species, like some will flower earlier in the season or continual bloom. Like you wanna attract as many diversity of those beneficial insects as possible.
Yeah, yeah. That's the biggest thing I think outdoor misses so much. I don't go to, like, a million farms or anything, but I've never seen somebody growing, cannabis or even, like, food outdoors and specifically having, like, flowers or mainly just flowers, really, to attract, like, the predatory bug like, all so much stuff that you need, and it helps so at least in my case, it helps so, so much. That
Oh,
and a
yeah.
cover crop or a mulch or something, if it's not a huge area, helps so, so, so helps me so much at least.
Huh.
For sure. I wish more people would plant more flowers. It's also just pretty and intrinsic value. This year I'm experimenting with like a hedgerow of flowers around the perimeter
Ooh,
of my garden.
yeah.
So I harvested all my sunflower seeds and I just threw like hundreds and hundreds of sunflower seeds. So it kind of creates a wall of sunflowers. Which is really good for spider mites because spider mites will
Hmm.
just float in on the dust and the wind. And so, like, having just that hedgerow helps limit them into your garden and then also
Ooh,
attracts like bugs. I'm sorry, birds, to come and eat the seeds.
see,
So, if you have
yeah.
caterpillar
Huh.
issues, like, you want to bring all of the beneficials in there. But then also
That's
remember,
a great
like,
idea because I was going to ask you about caterpillars. I got my plant outdoors, so throw some seed down around the plant and keep the caterpillars away.
you just got
It'll
to worry
help.
about the poop. The poop.
Oh, the
Because
poop.
sometimes the birds will poop on so maybe
Mhm.
not, like, the seeds around your plant, so they're not just shitting on it, but, like, a
Gotcha.
bird feeder in your garden near
Okay.
it.
Gotcha.
Um,
Okay.
but BT, do you use BTK? Bacillus thuringiensis kurtaski?
Uh-uh.
No?
Can you spell that for
Okay.
me? No.
Um, I love microbes, so I'm so fascinated with I mean, microorganisms, right? We're 99% microbial DNA, and all of these different microbes do different things for us, and so there's, like, a bacterial or fungal, um, species that will decompose or kill, like, almost every pest. So, it's called entomopathogenic, fungi or bacteria,
Hmm.
and the BT is a soil dwelling bacterium that only kills Lepidoptera. So that is the butterfly moth caterpillar species. So
Hmm,
it's pest specific. You're not going to kill anything else, but be careful. Our monarchs are in trouble. So don't spray it too frivolously. Spray it
gotcha.
targeted. I mean, really, the imported cabbage moth is, like, our number 1, I think those little white moths with the gray dot on their wing?
Yeah.
Those are the ones that will lay eggs, they love brassicas, hence the cabbage moth name, and their worms love, 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 love to eat buds, and so then you get bud rot, and it's just, like, all downhill from there, so BTK, type that in,
BTK.
Okay.
you'll find it.
Alright, I'll have to
'Cause
remember
there's
that.
2 different kinds. BTI targets fungus gnats and mosquitoes. So if you fungus gnats indoor growers use the mosquito bits with the BTI, Bacillus thuringiensis israelis, and then BTK, K Kurtaski, K caterpillar, K. That's how I remember it. Just like
Hmm.
easy peasy lemon
That's why you teach your kids at home. I love it. You'll have to remember that
squeezy.
because I wish somebody taught me. I suck at acronyms. So that I mean, teaching like that is great. So down the road, if when you're finishing up your plants outdoors, what else would you do down the road outdoors for sustainability to help us out?
Um, I mean, just growing out in terms of sustainability, finishing up, like, in what sense, I guess, do you mean?
So, Earl, what do you think?
Um, no, just like what would you in a what does a sustainable garden look like? Like as the flowers are finishing, as you're coming towards the end of the season. We talked a little bit about like what you were doing and what, some of the soils and stuff, but how can you work sustainability into like that end part a little bit more?
Okay, well, don't throw away your freaking fan leaves. All that pruning that you're gonna go through for flower, right? Like 20, 40, 60 is a general rule of thumb that people are kind of pruning. And I think it's good to at least make sure that you're hitting those days for pests, scouting, and all of that. And just as a good reminder, to get out there and pull leaves. Airflow, check for mold, and then don't throw those leaves away. Compost them or make your tea, your fertilizer. There's just a recent study even done on cannabis leaves containing rare alkaloids that are found nowhere else. There's 25 new compounds were just discovered in cannabis leaves, and you can juice them, you can make smoothies, you can
I
eat
love
them.
juicing leaves. Love it.
Yes, so
Love
many
it.
Cool.
things, and that
Love it.
your your own health is part of sustainability. So for sure, um, that's what I would have to say. And then trellising, I tried to do the jute trellising. I can't. I still have plastic trellising. I haven't found anything biodegradable or more
Hmm.
sustainable that works. But reuse it. Don't cut your trellising down when it's time to harvest. Wrap it back up, try to keep it as, untangled as possible, wrapped nicely, and save it for next year because, like I said, everything that we have ever owned is in existence somewhere else, and recycling plastic is a lie. It's just gonna end up in the landfill or, like, killing the freaking sea turtle or something. So, reuse, reduce, recycle as much as you possibly can.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, because this next one, talking about flushing outside, which is just we've talked about flushing a lot because it's like there's 2 worlds here, and our my general point of view, at least, is that organic and non-organic flush is just when you're feeding organic, you basically just flush, like, the last whole month because you're feeding organic and you're breaking yourself down as you flush, you're not feeding more food. And when you're feeding salts, you have to feed every single time. So you have to flush your last couple weeks because you can't rely on that breaking down of food. Do you think there's ever a time where organics would need like a true flush? Have you ever like tried to push a plant along by flushing food out, even if it's organic?
There's no flushing in a living soil system. I can't
Yeah.
I'm in the
Huh.
ground. What am I gonna do? Like I said, 45% of the soil in Earth's crust is made up of minerals. What
Minerals.
are
Yeah.
minerals? Minerals are the nutrients that our plant uses. So there's no way if my plant is in the ground that I can be like, "No, I'm not adding any more food,"
Yeah.
because the bacteria,
Yeah.
the protozoa, the fungi are all exudating enzymes and acids that are continuously breaking down nutrients, and the plant's going to eat it if it wants to eat it. And I, for one, would be hella pissed if I didn't eat for 2 weeks. That
Yeah.
sounds
Yeah.
terrible.
Big Earl would be too.
What do you? Yeah. Hell yeah. Why do you think that is there? Why do you think that you can, have a root surrounded by all these minerals that like a salt grower or a pot and would have to get away from it? Is it, is there any have you
Salts
ever like
build
is there
up.
yeah, okay.
Salts build up, and what happens when enough salts build up, it actually can reduce water uptake from a plant. And so I would say that when you have enough salt build up and you see your EC and your runoff coming out like huge numbers by flushing, I mean, are you really truly not giving the plant minerals, or is there something within the rock wool, the cocoa coir? I don't know,
Yeah.
when your EC is really high. I'm not a salt grower, but I do know chemistry. Some they're if you're flushing it out, like, that's just minerals going down. Any runoff,
Down the
right,
drain.
is just
Yeah.
minerals coming out. So, like, I don't know. I don't nerd out on the data behind this because I'm not a synthetic grower. Synthetics are not my repertoire,
The
the
jam. Yeah.
Haber Bosch, that's like synthetic fertilizers to me are part of the war machine. Literally, nitrogen fertilizer was made from World War II chemical warfare, and they switched gears from producing bombs to producing, "Oh, let's just we're gonna slap a new label on this and sell it as ammonium nitrate. It's a fertilizer instead of a bomb." So, not my, um
Yeah.
not something that I'm supporting. Um,
Good for you.
but, like, I don't have the data behind flushing. I know that when I first started growing, my boyfriend, ex-partner at the time, he flushed. We grew with freaking advanced nutrients, the most overpriced salty salts there is, and he was, like, a very firm believer in flushing as well. And I think that that's kinda like the forum, like, talk of what you should do, and I like reading white papers. I like
Yeah,
science. I
yeah,
haven't seen the data of, like, okay, so what's the biomass doing? What are the compounds doing? What's
yeah,
happening to the plant? And then I could make a judgment on that, but I don't have the data, so I'm not
yeah.
qualified to make an
Yeah, yeah,
assertion.
for sure. Oh, just
What's
yeah,
the
for sure.
outdoor when you're growing outdoor, it's time to dry, harvest, cure. How do you do it different? Is it different? How do you do it? I know how we do it indoor.
Yeah, I mean, well, okay, so this is different depending on what you're doing. So I don't know if you guys are like keep up on pricing, but like prices of everything has just like been going down, 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 down. And outdoor pounds are like at the high end, like 800 last year, low end 400 in my area. And then like the ROI on that is just not it's not good. So everything is fresh frozen for me because nobody's asking like, is this rosin indoor or outdoor? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so, like, that completely changes how I'm pruning even. That's why I did the experiment with the topping, because last year I grew I was starting the transition from flower to rosin, and as I was harvesting all of my plants for fresh frozen, I actually had to cut the nugs down because they were so big. And I was like, "What am I doing?" Because I literally pruned my plant like I would for flower to increase nug size because, once your plant sets all of its flower sites, that's it. Well, photosynthesis produces the sugars, so the excess sugars that aren't being used are stored in the flower, so you get bigger flowers, so we remove the small bottom ones, right? Because we wanna direct those sugars, but I'm like, wait, but I'm growing for rosin and fresh frozen, and now I'm cutting this big nug up to be frozen. Like, that's counterintuitive. So I'm like, this year, I'm just like pruning less because who cares if I have a bunch of small buds? I am washing it all.
Right.
So that is completely my harvesting, processing, everything
Hmm.
is completely different. I'll probably just do a two-step harvest where I will take the big colas top off the top, harvest those first, and dry some of them. And so I've converted so many things for drying. Right now I'm using a travel trailer. So I have
Oh,
like a
okay.
26-foot, camper trailer, and I have air conditioner and a dehumidifier in there, and I have lines set up still
Nice.
from last year. Didn't camp at all this year. It's just my permanent drying.
There you go. Love it.
Um, and so I just, I'm gonna dry my big nugs that I'll save for flour for us, and then everything else is going directly into I'll prune really heavy, right? Because I don't want any fan leaf in my fresh frozen. That's just adding chlorophyll, degrading the flavor, degrading the quality. And you should do that even if you're doing BHO or like I used to do a lot of white labeling where I'd take my pounds of trim or bee buds and like get them processed by the lab to turn into BHO. And you'd pay by the pound. And so, like, making sure that you're really pruning heavy before to make sure that there's nothing in there except for nug or sugar leaf is really
Mhm.
important to getting a better return and higher quality end product. So I'm gonna be pulling leaves first because fresh frozen needs to get in the freezer as quick as possible. So I'm not gonna cut the plant down. I'm just gonna remove all of the leaves while it's still in the ground and
Huh.
then pretty much just strip it bare, take the tops for flour, and then cut down. It'll be freezing cold here when I'm harvesting, so I'm not like I don't have to go anywhere. I just put it in a tote and then cut directly into vacuum seal bags, seal it up, not vacuum seal it though. Like, don't want to crush it, just seal it, and then throw it in the freezer. Take a break after. I mean, last year I had COVID and I was doing 10 hours of processing for like 4 days in a row, 5 days, 6 days. I don't know. It was a blur. It was horrible.
Oh, man.
And I have
During
way more
and
plants this year. So,
you had COVID too during that time, right?
yeah, I've had COVID
Oof.
twice in my life during harvest. And it is
Ugh,
the
that
weirdest thing
sucks.
not being able to smell. I'm like,
Hmm.
did I? What
It
is
looks
going
good.
on? I should
Yeah.
smell all of this. I can't smell anything.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah,
So
seriously.
Uh,
if you weren't pushing it though to fresh frozen, if I took my plant that I have outdoor, I just wanna what's the best way to dry cure and harvest?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on, like, also how many plants you have, Like, I personally always cut my plant down, so, like, into manageable, like, 8 to 12-inch branches, and I cut them so that they have a hook. This behind me, all of this is from a crop of ice cream cake I grew in a light depth greenhouse, and
Yummy.
that's how I hang it. That is how it's trimmed up with only as little, like, fan leaves as possible in those
Cool.
size, and that's hanging on a plastic trellis net in a tough shed I converted for drying.
There you go.
So, a wall, you can see, like, the
So is
green
that
netting and
so it's a shed outdoor. Do you have to worry about humidity? Do you have to worry about light and dark if you're doing it out in the shed? Is it totally closed off? Do you have humidifier, air
oh,
conditioning
yeah.
in there?
It
Okay.
was we lined it with, that R value, like, shiny, what is that stuff called? You get
Uh,
the sheets,
thick.
like the wall.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
insulation sheets.
Yep.
yeah.
So, because this was being dried in 100 degrees. This was, harvested in July in California, so it was 100
Hmm.
degrees outside. So I had dehum, and air conditioning, and we kept it about 70, 69 was as cold as it would get. And personally, I dry a little bit warmer than I know a lot of people say, like the 60-60, but your increase of microbial contaminants, having worked in the commercial space and seeing people fail for microbial drying at that, like it's exponentially, it's crazy the graph. Like if you just go up a few degrees, because there's only a few terpenes that volatilize at 69 degrees. So I think anywhere from like 68 to 75 Fahrenheit is really what I'm drying at. And I don't try and dry the humidity really quickly. So it'll be like 60% the first day or two, down 50%, down to almost 45%. And really thinking about your water content, the moisture in the bud. So you can get like a moisture content meter and like really getting it down when it's like 12% moisture
Yeah,
inside
Cool.
the
I
plant.
love it. Thank you for
yeah.
explaining that. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
After you cut it
definitely.
down, do you, amend your beds right then? Or when do you like to amend do you amend your
Oh,
beds in a
hell
long part?
no. This is a
No?
long freaking growing season. I am not doing that. I have plants just growing, and so I will, like, this past year, I threw a ton of cover crop, like, over winter, cold season, like, winter frost peas and, mm, I don't know, like, all of the stuff that can handle frost. But the motherfucking deer just came in and ate it all because everything else
Uh,
was dead, and so I was like, "This was just a waste of my freaking time and money." Um,
deer appreciated it.
Yeah.
but yeah,
Got fat.
I'm thinking about this year trying a winter cereal crop. Um, they'll probably get there in there and eat it too, but I'm just gonna try it because I live in the Palouse, which is like the breadbasket. They grow like a ton of wheat here. I'm surrounded by wheat farms. And I see them plant stuff and then overwinter, and then it pops up right as soon as there's, like the springtime. So, um, I don't know. I'm gonna just experiment with that because then you can let it grow up and then you can crimp it down. Like the people who make crop circles, they use like the wooden board and the rope to make the crop
Oh, yeah, yeah.
circles. So you do that on your cereal grain and it breaks it down at that stem and lays it flat, and then you can plant directly into that. And it's like a built-in mulch, and then it's decaying and adding nutrient. So I might play around with that, and then I'm gonna add a bunch of manure this fall. Because manure should be aged like 180 days, and composted, but I figure if I get aged manure and then throw it down in the garden, that it'll, like, compost over, with the cover crop, and it should be good, and then I'll amend in
Sweet.
the spring.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Love it.
pretty cool.
Any future projects you got coming you wanna talk about? And then tell everybody where we can find you.
Okay, yeah. I mean, every year I'm doing the Blaze project, so sign up, please. Like, if you guys are gonna grow outdoors next year, I'd be happy to send you seeds and get your guests and whoever's listening, like, to get involved and participate. Last year was our first year, and Ben Humboldt Seed Company we had like 45 people do it. And then this year, Seedsman sponsored it, and we had like 85 people do it. So I'm hoping that we'll just like keep growing every year. It's gonna just be an ongoing project. So definitely get involved in that. And then November 8th, where are you guys? You guys are Illinois, both of you?
Midwest is the
Yeah,
Okay.
best.
I'm right outside Detroit.
So
Yeah,
I'll be
I'm
in
south side Chicago. So,
okay. I'll be in Columbus or
Ohio?
Columbus, Missouri.
Oh, wonderful.
Missouri.
Missouri.
I don't know if
Oh,
that's close to you guys, but there's a Kindway Farms is throwing a craft growers cup, and they've
Oh,
asked me to come speak at that. So I'll be teaching a couple of classes there on
hell
November
yeah.
8th. Um And, I might do MJ BizCon again. I don't know. That was awful last year. I went with Seedsman and
I was
it was
there.
really sad. Oh,
I was
you were
there.
there? Did you like it?
I never went to the event. I was working. I had to work.
Okay.
I was working meetings at the hotel. I never got a chance to go. I never got a chance to go there. So I was just at hotel meetings for 2 days. It was great.
Oh. Oh, yeah. Well, Vegas is just not my scene, and it didn't really feel like a embodiment of the cannabis industry. Maybe like the
Sure.
corporate, circle jerks, but it was not like a nice, like, let's smoke a joint together and show each other our plants. That was the thing that I was hoping for, but
Right.
Yeah.
um, so I might, who knows? I might be there, working with Seedsman. I do a lot of work with them, so we'll see.
Cool.
I'm always have something going
We
on.
had
A
a I
million
met a
things,
cou
actually.
I talked to the couple. I was working the downstairs hallway leading people to the elevator. Kinda funny. And, the guys from Season walked by me. I'm like, "I have a bunch of guys that I've had on my show and gals that talk about you all the time." And they're like, "Who are you?" I'm like, "I do a show with my friend Big Earl and, the Grow Hour," and we got a chance to talk for, like, 10 minutes, and they're super good dudes. Super I hope I get to actually spend some time with them and talk to them more because they were super cool. Probably some of the coolest people I met there the whole weekend, the whole 2 days I
Yeah.
was there. So
Yeah, I didn't even leave the Seedsman booth because I was like, "I'm just gonna stay here and hang out with
We did.
them and sell seeds," and that was fun.
yeah, they're super
Um,
cool. So,
yeah,
where
you
can we
should get
I'm
find you?
Otto on or Tom.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be
Um,
great. Hell yeah. Thank
I
you.
can connect you guys for sure. I'll send you, Tom's email, and I'll do a little intro. He's the founder of Seedsman, and he would be happy to be on the show, I'm sure.
Oh, thank you for that. Thank you for
Um,
the introduction. We appreciate that. Where can we
Yeah,
find you? I don't have Instagram, but Mrs. Weedman, show me your Instagram. Your Instagram is dope. It's awesome. Your content's amazing. In the way you show people how to make teas and how to make them. Oh man, good stuff. I wish
Thank
I had
you.
Instagram, but I won't go back for a while till someone else buys them out. But anyway, so but yeah,
God.
super cool. You need to tell everyone where we can find you at because your stuff is amazing.
Yeah, definitely Queen of the Sungrown Instagram, but they shouldn't freaking goddamn took down my account last week, and then I just got it back, and that was terrifying because it's like, oh, 17,000 followers that you're just gonna lose, and that's how you talk to people, and
I
oh
yeah,
lost 3.
that's
I
what
god.
lost
hurt
I
me the
lost I
most.
lost I lost 3 accounts. I was crying on Big Earl's shoulder one day. I was like, "All that work, all that content
Yeah.
since 2018."
All
No,
the
even yeah, since
messages,
2018.
man. That's
Crying.
what hurt
Yeah.
me the
Oh,
most. Like,
oof.
everybody growing seeds out and all the conversations and all the, like,
Mm.
Mhm.
information where it's like, "Oh,"
Photos,
We
like
started a channel.
conversations, yeah.
Earl and I started a channel called The Vipers, and it's just people that listen to the show, growers, home growers that listen to they've joined and, you know, when I lost the Vipers, when I lost my Instagram, I was that heartbroken. I mean, so now I just have to go on Mrs.
Yeah.
Weedman's and hers and go say hi to everybody, but it's not the same. It's like
No, it's
you
not.
lose
It's
those connection
unfortunate.
you lose those connections with people you become friends with. And that's the thing
Mhm.
that sucks. People that listen to your show, people that follow you, some of these people you keep in touch with, they talk to you all the time. They become
Yeah,
family.
they're
Some of
like you
them.
become your friends, for
We got
yeah.
this. We
sure.
got we got this homie. We got this homie in Australia, Tez. I mean, the dude's one of the dopest motherfuckers ever, and I haven't met him face to face, like in person. I am gonna go to Australia one day and meet him. He is he got a he got a tattoo of Mr. and Mrs. Weeman in my Weeman 420 costume, my superhero costume.
Yeah.
He got he got a tattoo on his calf of my dog Yuki, my German Shepherd,
Oh
Mrs.
my
Weedman, and
god.
her I hate fuck the DA outfit, and me in my Weedman costume on his calf. I love the dude. I love him. I've only
That
talked to him
is
online. Just you connect, and that's what it to me,
crazy.
that's what I
Yeah.
that so fuck Zuck, you're a dick for making me lose my friends. That's what hurt the most, but
Uh-huh.
I refuse to go back. I
Agreed.
refuse. They canceled me out
Yeah, so
to
I'm
go
trying
my
to
personal shit, everything. Sucks.
yeah,
Ugh,
it
brutal.
does. It's like a stab in the heart. So I'm trying to figure things out, and I would love to connect with more people because I am a writer first and foremost. I love writing, so I do create the video form content, but like I write like 4 or 5 articles a month for different companies and myself. So queenofthesungrown.com, and if you just sign up for my newsletter, I will send you free giveaway stuff and you'll have recipes and articles, and I promise I don't send it out often cuz who wants to get more emails. And then I have YouTube, Queen of the Sun Grown. My nutrient company is Happy Plant Organics because I'm trying to keep that separate from cannabis so I can actually use payment processing and not get
Yeah.
shut down with all of the
Smart move.
freaking weed stuff.
Smart move.
Yeah. So, all of the social platforms, I've heard that LinkedIn is supposed to be super weed friendly.
I switched over to LinkedIn. I don't pay for it. I just have connections. I don't do the whole follower bullshit. But I got almost 6,000 connections that I talk to people all the time now. And I post my show. It's totally cannabis friendly. It's a lot of business stuff, but I just do it. I follow all cannabis people and people in the beer industry. That's all I really follow. So because they
Okay.
speak my language, I don't get involved in any of the other stuff, but it's a great tool. It is friendly for now. We'll see.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I should do that, but I don't even know my password to get in there. I'm terrible about computer things. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, just a one more app that I have to manage. Oh gosh. But if you want face to face time with me once a week, patreon.com/Queen of the Sungrown. I literally do a live stream every single Monday at 4:20. We talk
Oh,
about articles, recipes. I give customized garden help. I give away seeds. I give away product because I have, Grassroots Fabric Pots always sends me stuff. The Stash Blend sends me stuff. People love sending me things. So I really try to focus on my Patreon Discord members and give them all of the benefits of that.
good
And
for you.
we started this thing, the Homestead Holiday Gift Exchange. So every year we do a Secret Santa, and it's super fun to get
that's
other
cool.
people's homegrown or garlic or jelly or hot sauce or whatever it is. So I made a bunch of sauerkraut this year. I'm gonna probably send out to people.
Mm.
Again, there's that lactobacillus right there. It's just really good.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
Hell
thank
love
yeah.
it.
you
That
guys.
sounds
This was
cool.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Alex,
Thank you.
we appreciate you coming on and sharing your knowledge, and thank you so much for sharing this. This is you're you're good at what you do. I love it. I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys. And make sure and send me your address, and I'll get you some samples and stuff sent out.
Love it. Earl, we're not doing the CalMag joke anymore.
No CalMag. I don't know if you'd listened to any of the other ones, Alex. We did CalMag jokes for so long. They've
Yeah,
retired.
so what we're gonna say is a nice little Earl thought before we leave.
But yeah, I don't even have a good thought. You don't the flush is, you don't need to flush outside. There you go. You
Don't
don't
need
have
to
to we don't
flush
have to
out.
argue about it.
Don't need to flush outside, everybody. We love you. Thanks for listening. As always, go live some life. Peace. Check out our cannabis lifestyle brand online at 8decades.com. Our custom smokes and accessories are perfect for your coffee table, bedroom nightstand, or kitchen counter. They're designed for you to show them off. The Canna community is also loving our hemp and cotton blend t-shirts, sweatshirts, scarves, and hats, finished off with our 8 Decades logo. We've got some awesome long-lasting goods that will be your favorite for years to come. 8 Decades, because a ninth decade of cannabis prohibition isn't acceptable.